Yeah, I never played this game. I know. It's been 25 years. Oh, Jesus. Well, I decided to finally play this game and finished it. But why now? Well, let's start from the beginning. I've been fascinated by this game ever since I played the Luigi's Mansion stage from Super Smash Bros. Brawl and found out the origin through the trophies. And ever since that, I wanted to play the game. And I later made the connection from another game I played called Mario Kart DS that the Luigi's Mansion track was a reference to that game. It would for sure increase my interest. I also own Mario Sluggers on the Wii and saw Luigi's Mansion on the map, but kid me had no idea how to unlock it. But you're probably wondering, Dev, you own a Wii, which can play Gamecube games. Why not get the game? Well, I got a Wii in 2009, and Gamecube games were off shelves by then. Oh, why not go to a retro game store or garage sales? I was 5 years old and didn't buy my own games, okay? And I was focused on whatever was the newest thing, which later was the Wii U, and I got Nintendo Land. And what do you know? I played the Luigi's Mansion game on the Wii U. And it's a banger. Please play if you have friends. And again, it increased my interest to play this game. So for Christmas of 2014, I got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but it still wasn't the game that I should have played years ago. So it seems I would maybe wait for a re-release of the original game or find a copy of the game at a retro game store, since later I would grow more aware of retro game collecting. And in 2016, I saw the game for $30 at a swap meet and thought about buying it. It was my chance to finally end this journey, but I decided not to buy it since I think I wanted to buy whatever amiibo I wanted at the time. So 2019 came and I got what I wanted, a remaster of Luigi's Mansion. This is great, can't wait to play it on Switch. Oh, it's on 3DS in 2019. And a new Luigi's Mansion is coming to the Switch, so what do I pick? Yeah, I picked Luigi's Mansion 3. And it's great. Which was for sure the best decision because looking at the 3DS version of Luigi's Mansion, I heard not so great things about it, so I would like to say I made the right call. But some time passed and my interest for this game kind of faded away since new things came out and caught my interest. And maybe I'll never get to play this game. But the year is 2025. Nintendo has a brand new console, and Nintendo reveals this.
Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack will be getting a new classic game library exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. Titles will be added in the future.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
I have the chance. Since I have the NSO expansion, I have no excuse not to play the game, since it's right there. But once I got my Switch 2, I didn't play it. And decided to play other stuff since I got a new shiny console and new games, so the game kind of just faded away. And to be fair, I didn't even need a Switch 2 to play this game, since I've had this thing I mentioned called a Wii, which can play Gamecube games, and a computer which can play a thing called Dolph. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. And I could rip the band-aid and just play Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS, but that's what time does to a person. Until 1 month later, I started watching videos about playing their backlogs of games, and it brought back the motivation I needed to play Luigi's Mansion. So I got my GameCube adapter and plugged in my GameCube controller and finally played this long overdue game. So I played it and beat it. So what do I think of the game after a long 17-year wait? Well, I would like to give a little retrospective of the game before I give my thoughts on the overall game and why I think this game is fascinating to me and many others with this cult classic. So, in the year 1999, the GameCube was first revealed as Project Dolphin. Dolphin. But in the year 2001, the Nintendo GameCube was first revealed with many games, including the game Luigi's Mansion, which was an interesting choice since this would be a launch title over a new Mario game. And it's a whole different take on Luigi, since before the Luigi's Mansion game, Luigi was just known as Green Mario. And I think the closest Luigi had to a different personality was, I think the Nintendo 64 games where he gets picked on or shows his wimpiness in his Smash moveset. But in most other games, he's just the same as Mario, but green. So this game has the chance to finally put Mario's younger brother in the spotlight. Not that one, not that one. Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube would reinvent Luigi in the public eye, so let's start with the opening of the game. The game doesn't waste any time at all. You get to the title screen and pick a file and we get the opening scene of the game. So we open up with Luigi walking in a creepy setting, and we see he won a prize for a mansion that he didn't enter, which is weird, but whatever. Free mansion, let him have this. And I gotta love the moment you enter the mansion and it's dark and eerie. Then we see a floating key which is dropped, and this key can maybe open a door, who knows? What do you know, it does it. So Luigi slowly tiptoes in the dark room, and he's jump scared by a ghost, but saved by an old man with a vacuum, attempting to catch a ghost, but fails due to his old age. And his character introduces himself as Professor Elvingad, better known as Professor Egad, and he thinks of a brilliant idea for Luigi to catch the ghost himself. So they both run off to the lab, which is just outside of the mansion. And he mentions that the ghosts have popped out in the mansion not too long ago, and Mario, yes, Luigi's brother Mario, went to the mansion and hasn't been seen since. So we get a nice tutorial of how to use the vacuum and play the game in general. And I just gotta say, the sound design and the music are great. Just listen to this track. This is generally one of my favorite tracks to listen to whenever I'm making videos, which I'm doing exactly that right now. And the many jingles this game has, like getting a key, having this funky music that plays. I also want to say this game looks great to this day. And I really like the design of this game. Like, look at Luigi. Ooh. But after playing the tutorial, I finally got the controls and it's very different from the other two games. Instead of charging the light, you just have to turn on or turn around your flashlight close to the ghost to capture them. And man, I think the biggest highlight of this game for me is the controls and the controller itself, where it just feels great pressing on the Gamecube triggers to capture the ghost while moving both the stick and C-stick. And man, I will talk about those analog triggers later. But the controller complements this game very well to the octagonal gate on the control stick, the button layout with the B button being close to the C-stick to move Luigi around and turn on or off the flashlight. Like, it's so perfect. What more do I need to say? Please play this game with the GameCube controller if you're playing on Switch 2 or don't. So the main objective of this game is to go to room to capture ghosts, and the lights will turn on, meaning you cleared it. And you're usually rewarded with the key to go to another area, rinse and repeat. And yeah, this game is pretty linear, but you will have to do a bit of backtracking to previous places, which is great if you're into that stuff, since you'll get more and more familiar with the locations. And you do have a map that tells you which area you need to unlock with your key, the green color meaning which areas are cleared, and the floor number telling you which floor you're on, which is super useful. So when catching ghosts, you'll encounter humanoid looking ghosts, which are portrait ghosts, which are pretty cool since they have a little lore to them and are a little trickier to catch, since these ghosts require you to solve a small puzzle before you're able to catch them. And that's where the Game Boy Horror comes into play, where you can scan the hearts of the ghost, which can help give you clues on how to catch the ghost. You have to use your surroundings and figure out how to use them to fully reveal the ghosts. And these are pretty great, like throwing a bone for a ghost dog to get distracted by, using your vacuum to open a curtain to blow wind, or one that really complements the game very well, where you have to collect Mario's lost items for this fortune teller ghost, which will also help reveal where Mario is, which makes the journey more linear for people struggling with how this game works. Also, I love the part where Luigi pisses on the moon to get Mario's star. 10 out of 10 moment. Go play Luigi's Mansion now. Also, when solving puzzles, you'll encounter fire, water, ice, which you're able to suck up with your vacuum and use for various puzzles. And now, gotta talk about the analog triggers used with these, where if you lightly press on ZL, you'll spray these elements, which is cool. And if you fully press on the button, it will shoot out beams and blow further, which is pretty cool use of the controller. And you can also suck up these ghost things. I don't know what they are, to be honest. And you can use this feature on many of the bosses, which is super satisfying to use. Speaking of the bosses, these are pretty simple puzzles, but fun as hell. Usually teaching you or showing off a game mechanic to beat the boss. And the setting is always fun, like the first boss where you fight a baby on a crib, which is genius. And again, these bosses are all portrait ghosts. And I gotta say real quick, I really like the lore that they are given in the Game Boy Horror. Like, take a look at these in game or Wikipedia sometime. You won't regret it. But moving on to the other ghosts, we have boos, which you know and love from the Mario games. So when you clear a room, your Game Boy Horror will flash yellow that a boo is near, and red means you're exactly close to the boo. So basically a boo is playing hot and cold with you. And once you find it, you have to capture a boo, which is tricky since you have to position very weirdly and move lightly to capture them. And if you fail, the boos can escape to the next door where you have to capture them there now. Or they'll go into a room that you can't access yet, and you basically lose them for now. And I can't lie, this isn't as fun since it doesn't feel as satisfying to catch them. And especially where they're going back and forward in the same two rooms, it gets super annoying to catch them since you know you'll only take 6 health in each room you go to. And god, I hate the ones with so much health. Oh my god. Now I want to talk about the exploration of the mansion, where you have to go to the many floors in this mansion and memorize previous locations to backtrack a bit to progress in the story. There are many floors that are fun to explore since you have to take many weird paths to get there. And these floors have pretty fun rooms to explore. Some offering secret rooms which can access the roof, or secret rooms with tons of cash, which makes exploring really satisfying to do. And if you don't want to walk all the way down to the first floor, then find a mirror and take a photo with your Game Boy Horror camera and you'll teleport to the very first floor, saving you a ton of time. Also with the camera, you can take a photo of these sparkles and access a whole new area, which is pretty neat. And I saved the Boo himself for last, and that's King Boo, the man behind it all. So when you enter this whale, you'll get a tease of the basement, where a painting of Mario is being held by the leader of the Boos himself. So once you confront him and get the key to the room, you'll come face to face with him. And King Boo gets the idea to capture Luigi and make him a portrait right next to his brother Mario. So you're thrown into the roof of the mansion and fight Bowser, or at least a puppet of Bowser. Also, Kid Me spoiled this a while back on YouTube, so I saw this coming sadly. But anyway, you have to avoid all Bowser's attacks. But once he throws these spike balls, you can use your vacuum to suck it up. And once Bowser breathes fire or exhales, you can fire, and this will remove the puppet's head. You can attempt to capture King Boo, which you capture the same way as the other Boos, except he has 500 health, and the Bowser head is firing ice to freeze you. But once you capture him, Luigi grabs the painting of Mario back to EGAT's lab, and boom, we bring back Mario. And I gotta love Luigi crying at laughter, seeing Mario come back in a goofy way. It's so simple, but such a sweet end after Luigi overcoming himself to save his brother. And the credits play, and man, I love this song that plays. And please tell me I'm not the only one that got introduced to this song from the Stash Bros video.
Now my bros are painting. Daddy was there with the vacuum. He gave it to me for free, and now I have to go find Mario before the night's done.
One scary night, get those ghosts with a fight, scare the Boos with a fright.
I'm not the only one, right? But anyway, you get your grade, and yeah, I played pretty shit. Well, that was Luigi's Mansion. And what do I think of it? Well, I liked it. Nothing too crazy besides that the inner child in me would be happy that I finally got to play this game after so many years. I've seen a lot of cases where our younger selves see a game at the game store or watch from a YouTuber do a playthrough of, and you yourself want to get that game, but usually don't, or due to not having enough money since we were all kids, and we were usually given money for our birthdays or Christmas, but by then the games are usually off shelves, or you have a new interest. But now, with the most games being way more accessible with many ports, remakes, emulate, online stores to purchase older copies of games, games being accessible on multiple platforms, and the many sales that happen, and I say do yourself a favor and finally play that game you've been wanting to play for years. You won't regret it. For me, I've always wanted to play Portal 1 and 2, and when it came to Nintendo Switch in 2022, I finally bought it and loved it. And now Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And Luigi's Mansion isn't my favorite game or even close to my top 30, but damn, it's such a great game that I'd say is a must-play game for anyone that likes Nintendo games. Well, anyway, that's how I met Luigi's Mansion, and I hope you enjoyed the story, and good night.